The next wave isn't coming gradually. An Anthropic co-founder said this week it's going to be roughly 10 times bigger, 10 times faster than the Industrial Revolution, and not over a century. We're talking years. If you were paying attention this week, you could already feel it. Start here. 81,000 people. Last December, Anthropic sent an AI interviewer out into the world. Real conversations, open-ended, across 159 countries, 70 languages. The largest multilingual qualitative study anyone's ever done, arguably. What did those people say? It wasn't what you'd expect. Not a clean split between true believers and the worried. Hope and fear lived in the same person. They wanted to escape the dull work, get time back, for their families, for rest, for thinking. They wanted to learn things, start businesses, maybe even take on disease and inequality. But right there alongside that sat a deep unease. Fear that AI replaces human judgment, that we let our own skills atrophy, that we're building something smarter than we are and we don't fully understand what that means. And then there's Anthropic's week. The company's newsroom basically lit up. Claude Opus 4.7, stronger at coding and reasoning, better at multi-step work. A new design lab for visual collaboration. Project Glasswing, a consortium. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, others, banding together to harden critical software. Small business plans, higher usage limits, a compute partnership with SpaceX, AI agents built specifically for financial services, a joint venture with Blackstone, Hellman & Friedman, and Goldman Sachs, expansion into Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and a multi-gigawatt compute deal with Amazon on top of all that. This isn't a product cycle. They're building infrastructure for a planet. Then something leaked. Not a press release, an unsecured database. Nearly 3,000 documents. And what they described was Claude Mythos, codenamed Capybara. A model the document said was dramatically higher than Opus 4.6 in coding, in reasoning, and in offensive cyber capabilities. That last part landed hard. Cybersecurity stocks dropped 3 to 7% the day it got out. Markets don't react like that to a software update. What they're pricing in is something else entirely. The possibility that AI intrusion risk becomes a standard factor across every industry, the way weather risk or credit risk already is. The documents also confirm something users had started noticing on their own. Mythos is very expensive. Around the same time, people on $100 to $200 plans started hitting rate limits during ordinary work. The smartest models are becoming a resource. And like any scarce resource, they go first to whoever can pay. That same fluency that makes Claude useful also made it a weapon this week. Anthropic acknowledged it publicly. The model was exploited in a series of blackmail schemes. People used jailbreaks and contextual manipulation to get it generating threatening messages, extortion demands that, because of how well it writes, felt genuinely convincing to the people who received them. The company said this wasn't a fundamental alignment breakdown, just deliberate circumvention of safeguards. They pushed out better filters, tightened monitoring, restricted some high-risk use cases, and started working with law enforcement. But coming right on top of the Mythos leak, it raises a question that won't go away. The same tool that helps someone draft a business plan can be turned against people. Safety isn't something you check off. It's a continuous fight. It costs money, a lot of it, which means companies that can afford to fight it will have a moat that smaller players and ad-supported services probably can't match. The capital is already moving. Google pledged $40 billion in cash and compute. Amazon put in $5 billion in exchange for $100 billion in future cloud spending. A potential $900 billion valuation round could land within a fortnight. That SpaceX partnership, by the way, it isn't just about launches. It points toward orbital inference, compute that sits beyond any terrestrial outage, beyond the reach of any single government. Meanwhile, Anthropic is still courting small businesses, still apparently outpacing OpenAI on enterprise customers. Cat Wu has been hinting AI will soon anticipate needs before you've articulated them. The moves into legal services, Quizlet's acquisition of Coconote, Arizona State putting undergraduates at the center of its campus AI program. It all points the same direction. AI is becoming institutional infrastructure, not a subscription app you might cancel, which puts it squarely in politics. Anthropic turned down direct Pentagon contracts. The NSA reportedly uses Mythos anyway. Right after Anthropic's refusal, Google expanded its military AI access. That's just how this works. Military demand roots around ideological walls. The Glasswing Consortium, with that roster of tech giants, puts Anthropic inside the secure infrastructure and cyber defense conversation whether they wanted the label or not. offensive cyber capabilities, defensive consortiums, geopolitical maneuvering. The AI sector isn't just a market anymore. It's a security theater, and every capability has more than one use. The company's pledge to stay ad-free matters in that context. In a world where advertising incentives can corrupt what an AI tells you, refusing to monetize through attention is a real signal. But trust doesn't close the price gap. Those 81,000 people wanted professional mastery, time back, capability. Mythos's cost could split the market into a premium tier where corporations use frontier AI to drive economic transformation, and a second tier, ad-supported or limited, for everyone else. The dream of AI empowering individuals runs straight into the reality that the most capable systems are extraordinarily expensive to run. If the only way to access them is through a corporate expense account, then the co-founder's prediction of 10 times faster change could arrive in a world where some people have AI running circles around everyone else's. That's not a technology problem. That's a society problem. Education's caught in it too. BT Business is training all 11,000 of its employees in AI fundamentals. Norway just held its first national AI championship. Chegg is converting workforce training into college credit. Playlab's running a 2-year program redesigning entire schools around AI. The curve is bending fast. But if the most advanced tools stay behind expensive paywalls, the next generation of learners is already being sorted. Those who train with the best, and those who make do with what they can reach. Pull back and look at the week as a whole. Markets are already pricing AI risk. The Mythos leak proved it. Safety spending is mandatory, not optional. The blackmail cases made that plain. Google and Amazon's pledges confirm the base layer of intelligence is a capital war, not a code war. The SpaceX partnership is pointing toward a day when inference moves beyond any one country's borders, and the gap between public hope and frontier cost will determine who actually gets to be part of the transformation the co-founder described. We're not watching this from a distance. We're inside it. The Industrial Revolution gave people generations to adjust. We have years. The decisions being made right now, in boardrooms, by engineers, through databases that should have been locked, are already carving the shape of the next century. The question isn't whether we can build machines that think better than we do. We're already doing that. The question is whether we can afford to share them.